So I'm Lola Star. I am the creator of Dreamland Roller Rink, and we are here at my pop-up, Brooklyn is my happy place. My dream and my obsession with creating magical roller rink parties began when I was 7 years old, and I used to dress up in fabulous costumes and roller skate around my parents' basement, dreaming of living in New York City and bringing people together in this magical way, dressing up in costumes and just celebrating life and connecting. So really that dream began when I was just a kid, and then things transpired and I ended up moving to New York City, and now I am living that dream. There have just been so many people who have influenced me and inspired me throughout time. I think my grandmother is someone who's really inspired me. She was Polish and she taught me how to polka dance when I was a kid, and that sort of led the way to being a party organizer. The way she would organize these polka dancing parties like in our living room. So although it's not roller skating, I really think Virginia Pasquale was her name, was a huge inspiration for me, and just the way she would bring us together and just dance there in my living room. Roller skating is just the most magical thing on earth. Like it just truly is this spiritual experience. Once you're moving on skates, it's like reality and everything we know about mundane existence just kind of fades away. It's the closest thing to flying, and it's just like you feel like a superhero. You feel like you're transcending this, human existence, and you're entering into this magical world, and that just fascinated me from the time I was young and to this day. Like every single time I am on roller skates, it just blows me away by how magical that experience is. My beginning is a little bit of a strange story. It is not the way most businesses began. I'm a community activist, and through that activism, I won a contest, this crazy national contest sponsored by Glamour magazine and Tommy Hilfiger. So I'd always had this dream of taking this vacant historical landmark building on the Coney Island boardwalk and transforming it into a roller rink. It was like this far off dream of like maybe someday in the future. And then I won this contest. And that was the objective of the contest, to make someone's dream come true. And so then I had to figure out how to fund financially a roller rink, how to run a roller rink. So it all went into fast forward, and I literally, like in a month, figured all of that out. Went from having this lofty, far off dream to being like, oh wow, I have to figure out how to make that a dream a reality now, and Glamour magazine's gonna make a movie about it. So it was a really weird way to start a business, but I'm just so thankful because that catapulted my dream into reality. My event is the first immersive roller disco experience, which I know now they're, creating something that is inspired, I think, by what I created way back in 2008 when I began Dreamland Roller Rink. So Dreamland Roller Disco is an immersive roller disco experience. In addition to roller skating, there's a performance that takes place throughout the night. There's events that happen, there's performances, and our goal is to cultivate that energy and to really intentionally bring people together. So it's a lot more than just roller skating. There's an MC that narrates the whole experience. We want you to feel like a star when you come to Dreamland. I feel like everybody supports just who you are, like who your true unique self is. That's what we celebrate at Dreamland. No matter how different or diverse that might be from one another, we celebrate you and whatever unique being you are. And even if it's different from someone else, that is celebrated and supported. And that's what I feel when I come to my events. Even though I'm working, I think it's just so important for my mental health just to have that support and that community and that family is truly, truly everything to me. Doing something unique and something the world has never seen before, I think that's something that I really intentionally try to do, and that's what has made Dreamland Roller Disco so unique. And it's hard, like it's really scary to do something unique and different, and a lot of times it can feel like you just want to play it safe and you want to do, you know, oh yeah, this is a formula that I could do and it could easily be achieved. To never go that route, to always trust your gut and this feeling of intuition that you have that may lead you down an unexpected road, but just like go with it, and you know, all the pieces will fall together eventually if you follow your heart. And I think that's the most important thing. I mean, skating is everything. It has just brought so many beautiful people into my life. I think that's the thing that I value most of all, is the community of skaters. That's just so diverse. It's so many different types of people from different types of backgrounds just come together in the love of skating and all mutually support each other there on the dance floor. We are 1000% all about community, and we have what we call our skate fam, which is just a group of people that have been coming to my parties now for 14 years, some every single week, and we truly are a family, and we welcome everybody into that family, and I think that's the energy that you feel when you come to a Dreamland Roller Disco event. And that connection and that community is more important than ever right now as the world becomes more disconnected and people are on their phones and there's all this discord in the world. That connection and coming together on a dance floor with all different types of people who might share different views otherwise, but just being able to come and experience collective joy on the dance floor is transformational. It cultivates this diversity that you don't see elsewhere. I can't think of any other sport that's as diverse as roller skating. And that's just one of the beautiful things that I love about my events personally, is just to see that diversity and all those different types of people coming together despite whatever your differences are, and just feeling that unity and that love and that joy on the dance floor. So I always say that party throwing is like sorcery. You're taking this energy and bringing it together, and you really never know how the night's gonna evolve and transpire. You don't know who's gonna show up, what the energy is gonna be like. You know, sometimes it's kind of low and you have to figure out how to move it back up again. And it's always new, it's always surprising, sometimes in bad ways, most of the time in good ways, you know. But it's always something unique and exciting. And I think especially because I do themed events, every night is so different. It's never boring, it's never the same. You never know who's gonna show up and what kind of magic they're gonna bring to the event, or what kind of challenges you're going to face. So that's just something that keeps it fresh and exciting, never boring, and always really, really inspiring. So I feel really strongly about engaging in my community in a positive way and making positive changes. And that translates to a lot of different types of community activism, whether it's just in my neighborhood, actively advocating for, you know, the zoning we need in our community. Another organization that I'm really passionate about is animal rescue. I foster dogs and I work with a lot of different animal rescues. At Dreamland Roller Disco every year we host a celebration of my previous dog, Lola Star, and we celebrate her with a shimmer disco, and the proceeds go towards an animal rescue that I work with and that I foster dogs through, and so we donate all of the proceeds. In addition to honoring Lola Star, we donate the proceeds to an animal rescue. And I've done many other different types of animal rescues. We raised $10,000 for one animal rescue organization in just 3 hours with one of our benefits. So it's pretty amazing. I think especially right now when people are isolated on their phones, and throughout the pandemic as people were so isolated inside, there's more of a need to connect with people, and especially to connect with people and experience collective joy. Like there is nothing like being on a dance floor and feeling unified with every single person on that dance floor, and just feeling this joy elevating all of us, everybody, into this incredible space. I feel like that is more important than ever. And the events that I've hosted since the pandemic began have been the best parties I've ever thrown in my whole life, because people realize that, like, as we've been separated, we're coming back together with more love and joy and enthusiasm than ever before. You know, it's been so exciting to watch it through the pandemic just explode into this, like, I mean, even right now, what's happening in roller skating is something I personally never dreamed of, that it's becoming huge. And I do see it as people are craving that connection. I think activities like roller skating, it's going to be more valuable than gold. Where you can connect and where you can come together as a community, that's the future. And I think the more people are catching on to that, roller skating is just going to become even bigger, and more people are going to be roller skating, and the world is just going to become a better place because of it. I think there's just such a need in general for community spaces. I have this vision of reinventing the idea of a community center. There needs to be more places, there needs to be more roller rinks, but I think more places in general for people to come together as a community and connect and have different types of events and culture. I feel like there's this old concept of this community center, but I love that a roller rink is just that. Like, you can come connect with your neighbors, be in a safe space that promotes physical activity, which, I mean, some of the people just that come here, just the movement of being on a dance floor just pulls you out of whatever, you know, you're inside of your head, and it just pulls you into this other space. I had a woman in here yesterday who she was dancing with her children, and she just burst into tears and started crying, like really just crying her eyes out in front of her children, in front of everybody, just because she hadn't moved like that in so long. It had been forever since she danced, and it was such an emotional release for her that she just it just came out of her. And that's my goal, is just to provide people with that release and the tears of joy that she was crying. Just being able to have that opportunity to move your body is so important for mental health. Both in roller skating and other types of movement, like dancing, that I feel like aren't really so much a part of our culture anymore. It's just become regulated to the club scene or you know, the bar scene. I hate that so much of it is tied into drugs and alcohol also. I'm trying to bring that back, you know, and that's one of the great things about roller skating, is that, you know, it can't be it's not physically possible for it to really be tied into that type of activity. So it is something that you can do without that influence. And I'd like to bring dancing back into that realm again, where it's not something, you don't need to go to a club and, you know, go out at 2 a.m. to go dancing, that it can be something that you do as a community and just come together with your family and with other kids. But I feel like there is this openness and then really this craving for that kind of connection and that kind of movement, and just this need that, I mean, I'm hopeful that it's going to bring us all together and that the world will become a better place because of it. Brooklyn is my happy place is this dream that I have of something that doesn't really exist, and it does feel like that scary kind of unsure where this is going. What is it? Is it a store? Is it a dance? Is it a venue? It's like all of these things combined in a way that's kind of unconventional. And for me, as developing this as a business, it's been scary, I think. So Brooklyn is my happy place. Didn't come out of happiness. It came out of really just despair and question about where we were going as humanity, as a society, and just trying to bring as much joy and love and connection into the world as I possibly can. And there's no better place to do that than locally, right where you are right now, which is why I called it Brooklyn is my happy place, because I want to bring more joy and love right here to Brooklyn and let that ripple out into the rest of the world, and hopefully create a positive change that I feel like is really needed right now. So I do intend to grow that, and I have a couple new pop-ups planned for next month in Manhattan. So I do intend to grow that into these new experiences. So perhaps combined with roller skating, perhaps separate. We'll see where that goes. But I've always done retail and roller disco, and I always wanted to find a way to combine them. So now here I have a retail store with a dance floor, which is pretty awesome, because my retail store always felt like a party anyway. So yeah, now I've combined the retail aspect and the event party throwing aspect into this really amazing space where you can just come in and have a spontaneous dance party with your friends, listen to your favorite song, and then, you know, walk back out into the mall and do your shopping. I think that's what the world needs right now. I feel like I'm doing, you know, the work that the world needs by bringing people together like that.